Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. Let's talk about it. This opened up the night. This was incredible, and I got a stat right here for you, brother. 1,973 combined significant strikes landed at UFC 268. Now, this isn't specifically for this matchup. This is overall as an event. But you see the photo that they have up there is Gaethje and Chandler, and they have it for a reason because these dudes were beating the hell out of each other. But then again, AJ, I'm going to pull this down for a second because if I'm not mistaken, this is less of a fight of the night and closer to a Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar one-sided, very fun beatdown. You know what I mean? Michael Chandler got the brakes beat off of him in rounds 2 and round 3. He had some success in round 1, don't get me wrong, but I don't think Justin Gaethje, even had a cut on his face at the end of the fight. Michael Chandler looked like he just went through a war. What do you make of that, my man? How good is Justin Gaethje here?
Well, it's crazy because I thought Michael Chandler was going to be the more technical fighter. I thought that round 1 blitz. We all know Chandler has that round 1 blitz, and he's very, very dangerous in there. But after that round 1, he really starts to peter out, and we saw that exact thing happen in the fight. And I was expecting him to know, like, okay, all right, this is going to happen. Justin Gaethje's a war of attritionist. He's down for the fight, and staying technical and staying strong is very important against Justin Gaethje, or else he could put your lights out because this dude is a dog. And I was expecting Gaethje to come in and be the wild man that we like to see. But it was absolutely different, man. Justin Gaethje stayed technical. He stayed solid. He stayed with the game plan of Trevor Whitman. It was working. Well, Michael Chandler, this dude's a wild man, bro. He proved that he is down for whatever. I believe one of the quotes he said when he first got to the UFC, I am here for a fun time, not a long time. And he proved exactly that. He doesn't give a shit what happens. He's down for a war, and he's trying to just make, the crowd happy. He was even losing the fight in the third fight, saying, like, come on, and then getting tagged up, 4 hits. Oh, shit. Come on. That dude was crazy, bro. It was good to see. And the leg kicks of Justin Gaethje are absolutely tough. Once Chandler gassed, the fight was basically over, except for the fact that this dude is very, very stubborn and hard to put away. What was your takeaways, Derek?
Listen, man, Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler proved their worth to the UFC in this fight alone. But I will say, Justin Gaethje said something, and he says this pretty often, but it resonated with me very heavily, and it reminded me why Justin Gaethje is arguably one of my favorite fighters overall, right? Because it's a mentality thing, too. He's very Goggins-esque, right? He said, in another life, in another time, we wouldn't be here. We'd be fighting to the death, gladiator style in a coliseum, putting on a show for all of the fans, watching right there. That's the type of guy Gaethje is, where he's like, man, I think he was like, my purpose is to be the most entertaining fighter in the world. Like, that's my purpose, right? So to have a purpose like that, to put on a show like that, to still not be emotionally connected and still stay technical rounds 1 through 3, so impressive, man. It blew me away. It truly did, because Gaethje, you have to look at the man as he has zero fear of the man in front of him. He was standing in the pocket with Michael Chandler when Michael Chandler was throwing bombs, bro. Where Michael Chandler was throwing fight enders, night enders, everything you could think of. But Michael Chandler did the same thing, right? Michael Chandler said, what's up? I saw all that, what's up? That was cool at first, until you started getting the brakes beat off of you. Then I'm like, all right, bro, we got to chill with the what's ups, because I don't want to sit here and downplay anybody. Both of these dudes had an incredible performance, man. If they weren't fighting each other, these are arguably, like, Michael Chandler has solidified himself as a top 5 fighter in the lightweight division, no question asked. But I felt that Michael Chandler, and I want you to respond to this, AJ. I was talking to you about it in Slack a little bit, where Michael Chandler says, all right, I know I'm going to lose the fight. I know that my title shot's slipping away again. I need to stay relevant. I need to stay popular. I need to make sure the fans still love me after the loss. So I'm going to turn this into I'm going to fight the ego of Justin Gaethje. Come on, bro, that was nothing. That's all you got. His calf was decimated, but he's like, what's up? Calf kick? Okay, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that this went to unanimous decision, the fact that he was such a crowd pleaser, the fact that he left the cage and said, are you not entertained? He pulled, what movie is that from, AJ? Do you know? Gladiator?
Gladiator.
Yeah, there we go. He pulled that. I think that he wins in the eyes of the fans, even though he got the loss. But do you agree with me? So respond, please, to that notion. Do you think that he was just having too much fun in there? Or do you think he strategically said, I know I'm going to lose the fight. I got to stay popular. What do you think?
I think it was a strategic game plan, man. I think, obviously he wants to win, but he's in the eyes of the whole how the fight's going. When you're getting whooped on,
Yeah.
And if you don't, that's for your coaches to tell you, hey, you're getting whooped on, bro. We got to do something different. But you can see Michael Chandler. He's very cerebral. He was thinking it through. He saw what was going on and was able to keep the crowd entertained, and that's almost More important, well, the most important thing is getting the dub, but it's almost most important to keep the fans happy because they're the ones keeping the paycheck coming. They're the ones that are going to make, have Uncle Dana put you on the card because he says every time this guy fights, the fans show up early. So it is very important to keep the fans happy. And I think it was a cerebral move. I think it was a game plan that Michael Chandler had where he knew, all right, I'm losing this fight. Time to actually get some fans going. And Justin Gaethje is your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. That's like every fighter out there that's in the UFC, they say their favorite fighter is Justin Gaethje because this dude is absolutely entertaining. And to go to war with him like that, I think some of that title has been transferred over to Michael Chandler because this dude has proved his worth. And I'm happy that he came from Bellator and is now in the UFC getting these dog fights. And we're able to see that happen in his prime. Well, in the prime era, not necessarily his exact prime, but in the prime era that Michael Chandler has.
No, I agree with you, man. And it's incredible, right? Because if he would have stayed in Bellator, he never would have been able to showcase just how good of a fighter he truly is, man, because it's not the same level of competition. My last question for you on this one, man, and I don't want to make any accusations here, but I feel like Justin Gaethje let Michael Chandler off the hook in the second round. He had him hurt, had him battered, had a front choke on him and did nothing with it. He just hung out and chilled and like caught his breath for a little bit. He had a Darce, he had an anaconda. He could have just gone for a guillotine. Like Justin Gaethje can't submit you. It just decided that it felt like he just didn't want to. And he was like, we're going to stand back up and I'm going to knock you the fuck out. It felt like that was his game plan. Do you think that was the case? And do you think that Justin Gaethje won or lost in the eyes of the fans by extending the fight as opposed to potentially finishing it in the second round?
I think it was part of the game plan because you're right. There was like 4 or 5 different instances in which he had the choke locked up, and then he's like, I'm just gonna sprawl these hips. I'm gonna put my weight on him. I'm gonna let this dude catch his breath so that we can stand up and bang again. And I think it was more so a decision that we're going to get this fight of the night. We're going to get this paycheck coming. We're going to work together. We're going to be a team on this one. We're going to get some fans going. I feel bad for Shane Burgos and Bobby Q because their fight could have been fight of the night, except for the fact that we had Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler right before. And I think it was really a mental decision by Justin Gaethje to be like, yeah, you know what? I could end this fight right now by submission, but this dude isn't hurting me. His punches in the first, I was getting tagged up pretty clean. But the second, they have a little bit of less power. I could probably take a couple more. Why not? Let's stand and bang. And then that's when he decided, all right, let's stand up.
Yep. So ultimately, they won fight of the night, man. So that's an extra $50K on both ends. They're happy about that. Justin Gaethje, man. We'll talk about it in the matchmaking, but title shot's next. He says if there's no title shot next, we riot. So look, I'm with you. We're rioting, brother. Come on, let's do it. You dig? But huge win by Justin Gaethje, man. He moves to 6-3 in the UFC, and believe it or not, this is only his 3rd decision win of his entire career, which is why it was also surprising because there's a lot of people who bet anytime KO for Justin Gaethje, but. That's all right, man. Let's move on to the next one.